What is up, Jackednnerdy fans? Welcome to my non-spoiler review for Hellboy, the Crooked Man. Before we jump into that review, though, as always, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on a video, and give these videos a thumbs up. It doesn't cost you a thing, and it supports the channel more than you know. So give the video a thumbs up. We appreciate your support. So let's jump straight into it. Hellboy, the Crooked Man. So I was not overly excited about this film. Obviously, I mean, I'm a massive fan of Hellboy. I absolutely love the David Harbour version of Hellboy. I thought that film, was very underrated, and I was very disappointed that they weren't going to give it a sequel, because everything was all lined up and teed up very nicely for a sequel with that film. So I'm very disappointed that we didn't get a sequel. And also the Guillermo del Toro Hellboy films, I absolutely adore those films as well. So, when they said that they were doing a whole nother Hellboy, I wasn't overly thrilled, because I loved the two first ones so much. And then I saw images for the new Hellboy, and it just looked weak, pathetic, didn't look very intriguing. But, I thought, what the hell, I'll at least sit down and watch it, and then that way, I can, no one can say I haven't given it a go. And I mean, the one thing that did get me intrigued from the trailers was that I saw that there was Jefferson White was in it. If the name doesn't ring a bell, he plays Jimmy in Yellowstone, who's had an incredible character arc, and I think he's quite a good actor, and I'm interested to see more of him in the future. So that was the one redeeming factor that I saw in it. So I sat down and watched Hellboy, the Crooked Man, and I'd have to say, visually, it is very well shot. Visually, it's very well shot. The use of toned down colours, lots of greys and this, that, and so visually it's very, very well shot. The use of prosthetics and things like that for not just Hellboy, but for different characters throughout the film, really, really good. The prosthetics were really on point. Some of, I suppose you should call it CG, or some of the graphics and things like that also were done very, very well. So there were quite a few good things about it. Also cinematography, the way that it was shot in this kind of Appalachia mountains and and all that, visually very well shot. Casting wise, well, actually, before we go in casting, we'll go story. So, it obviously follows the story of one of Hellboy's escapades or adventures in rural Appalachia, funnily enough, where they encounter the mythos of the crooked man, witches, all of that kind of stuff, and so the story itself, really quite good as well. Interesting, unique, very different. It's not your usual kind of first movie of a franchise, especially like Hellboy, and all that, where you're saving the world from doom, and if they don't succeed, the whole world's going to end, or what have you. No, this was a very small, contained story in this one particular area, dealing with witches and myths or in that area. The stakes the stakes are not overly huge, apart from the fact that, look, if they fail, they'll probably die themselves. But it's not world ending. So I liked that it was kind of a more subdued, isolated, small story rather than a massive global one. It was in a way, it was a good introduction to a new potential franchise, or whatever you want to call it. That being said, casting, okay? Obviously, Jefferson White, I mentioned earlier. Really, really good. Really enjoyed him. He did a really good job. His character, although his character was a bit wishy-washy, That's not his fault. That's just the way it was written. The character could have been written a little bit better, but with what he had to work with, he did a fantastic job. Joseph Marcell, who plays a priest in it, very well established African American actor, did a fantastic job as the priest. Absolutely thought he was great. Leah McNamara, who plays one of the witches in the area, I suppose you'd call it. She was really, really good as well. Did a fantastic job. It was really fun seeing her on screen. I think, she a bit menacing, a bit creepy. Really enjoyed seeing her on screen. Then you had Adeline Rudolph, who played Hellboy's not sidekick, I don't want to use the word sidekick, partner, I suppose, from the BPRD, field agent, but more of a bookworm. She was really good as well. She did a fantastic job. A little bit annoying in sections, a little bit irritating, but on the whole, she did. Again, I think that's the way the character was written, not her portrayal. But again, she did a fantastic job as well. The issue I have is Hellboy, Kesy. I really don't know much about him. I can't really think of many other things that he was in. What was it? Apparently he was in Deadpool 2. I don't know. He was in The Outpost, which is a Netflix thing. Apparently he was in The Strain as well. He's been in a few things, but I really don't remember him in those films. Look, to be honest, he was not a Hellboy. He was not Hellboy to me. He hasn't got the build. He hasn't got the presence. I found him to be the voice was there. The voice that he used for the character was on point. It was that gruff, deep, masculine kind of voice. But he just didn't have the physical presence of what I expect from a Hellboy. And that's, to me, where it kind of all fell apart. You can't have a hero, especially a comic hero. One, it's a comic book hero. Two, it's Hellboy. He's got to be larger than life. He's got to have a presence. When this character walks into a room, the room has to not, feel the presence and stop. And he just did not have that presence whatsoever. And really, that's the thing that turned me off from day one all the way through to now. It's just the presence of the character just wasn't there. And without that, everything else just does not fall into place and everything else is lost. So look, the film was better than what I thought it was going to be for a lot of the reasons that I just explained. On the whole, it should have worked. It had a lot going for it and it should have worked. The reason why it didn't is because the lead just didn't have the presence that it needed. And from there, it was just a domino effect. So, like I said, all in all, it was better than I expected, but I can't rank it with the David Harbour and Guillermo del Toro Hellboy movies. They're not even in the same league as far as I'm concerned. So, that's my opinion of Hellboy, the Crooked Man. Hit me up in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think, if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, look, I don't usually say this, but personally I would wait until it comes out on streaming then by all means, sit down and watch it, make up your own mind. But as far as I'm concerned, it's not a movie that you have to see on the big screen. There's nothing about it that screams, must see in the cinema. But hit me up in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think. And stay tuned on the channel. As I said, we got heaps more coming out. We got Venom coming out this week. Next week we've got Weekend in Taipei coming out, which is also really interesting. We got Gladiator 2 coming out in a couple of weeks, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, guys, so you don't miss out on any of our videos. And again, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll catch you at the next video. Until then, stay jacked and stay nerdy.